Just in case you were wondering, everyday carry existed before titanium. Before we started to, dig titanium out of the earth and discovered it on the periodic table and incorporated it into everyday carry, we were doing everyday carry. Why is everyone on the scrotum, on just kind of like on the ball sack of titanium and just making it a critical part of their EDC? I think in their heads they have a reason why. But then there's a real reason why, which a lot of people don't want to admit. Now, let's just say this. It's useful because of high corrosion resistance. It's lightweight due to high strength to density ratio, metallic element. It is a fantastic metal to add to your EDC, but it'd be the only material or the only metal in your EDC. Now, it's lightweight, but it's not lighter than aluminum. It's stronger than steel, but not stronger than hardened steel. It is anodizable, and you can make it just about any color underneath the sun. I have a crazy flashlight by Woobin, which is this titanium with all these crazy colors on it. It's anodized. Looks really good. It can take on a lot of different finishes, whether it's stonewash or polish or sandblasted, and it's not going to cause a lot of material or a lot of titanium to be removed in order to get that final finish. But titanium has taken EDC by storm for well over a decade because of its reputation for the corrosion resistance, which we all like, but marketing by these companies is what has us in grips. Influencers in our photos to include folks like me. That's why I'm so resistant on carrying a titanium scale knife in the pocket. A lot of times I had to pull out and see what I had in the pocket today. Today is the Drop Bear by Kaiser, which is an aluminium scaled knife, which is 154 cm blade steel. Feels great, but lighter than titanium. Probably doesn't have the durability, but who really cares? It gets the job done. It does exactly what I need it to do. There's just a lot of things that may be beneficial to not always just gravitate towards titanium. First off, when it comes to blade scales on a knife, G10 is normally cost less money. I know titanium resists germs really well, so does copper. But when it comes to cleaning it off, I just noticed the G10, it just makes life easy. I can spray it down. I don't care how wet it gets and all that type of stuff. Both G10 and titanium are much better than micarta. Don't get it twisted. But for me personally, I just tend to shy away from putting my titanium scaled knives into positions where they're going to need a lot of cleaning. If I'm processing an animal, if I'm going to go do some really crazy stuff in the woods, if I'm working near acids, if I'm doing stuff like that, I don't normally want to get my titanium stuff all jacked up. Next is the cost. Do you need to make that additional cost just to have titanium everything within your everyday carry? I would say no. Why do you need those scales? Why does your flashlight need to be so? Even folks are starting to add it to the outer casings of their cell phone with Apple and their titanium shelled iPhones. The outer casings of their watches, if you wear a smartwatch and you're still a weirdo that does that. Coins and challenge coins, and it's getting into everywhere. Next, I think people are going to find a way to rock titanium pouches and slings and bags. I think it's okay to have stainless steel. I think it's okay to have aluminum, get it anodized. I think it's okay to use micarta in certain situations. You don't always need to feel the pressure to be in the in crowd with titanium everything. But now conversely, there are some health reasons why you may not want to have titanium part of your EDC. Depending on the way that it's finished, it could actually cause lung problems, breathing it in. If it starts to chip away from your EDC items. Titanium is not very good for your lungs. Neither is a lot of other materials, but I'm focusing on drilling down on titanium right now. Titanium is more brittle than steel, it's stronger when it comes to density, but when it comes to the edge, whether it's knives or items or flashlights or whatever, there's a higher likelihood that it could become brittle, especially when it compares to hardened steel. Titanium doesn't hold an edge as long. I guess there's not a lot of knives that are made of titanium. It's stainless steel, but do you want to know why? Because stainless steel holds an edge increasingly longer. When folks start to finally transition to figure out how to sharpen titanium, when and if they ever do that, it doesn't hold an edge as long. If you're using it for your pry bars and stuff like that, you're better off using a stainless steel pry bar, although titanium will significantly look better. But I could argue to say that even some stainless steel like Damascus damaged steel, stuff like that. It looks pretty good. It doesn't always have to be titanium. Next, titanium mining is more detrimental in a lot of areas to the earth than it does to harvest steel and make composite materials like G10 and FRN or micarta. The water it's used for the mining purposes, the environmental impacts of the areas surrounding it could have big issues. So if you don't want to contribute to that, maybe get yourself a composite material. Maybe you don't carry it as much, but you don't always need to lean heavy on always having a lot of titanium. Next, if you need to conduct heat or electricity efficiently, it's easily said that copper and brass do that way better than aluminum or titanium. So if that's for whatever reason you need to do that, then you shouldn't have titanium, in that case, aluminum, a part of your EDC at all. Argue to say that unless you have a need for it, you need the lightweight, you want the sandblast finished or whatever, you're trying to make your kit as light as possible, go with aluminum. But if you want to do the next best thing with the hardness of it, you can go with titanium. But if you're just going for the coolness factor, you don't have to chase after a great titanium everything with your new EDC. Now, I'll give you a couple of reasons why you should go for titanium other than the cool factor. It machines well. I think that if you're going to put it in a CNC machine, if you're going to put it through other finishing processes, if you need it to be shaped a certain way to fit inside your kit, titanium machines very well. Mentioned earlier, super durable, super hard, much more than the super scratchy and dentable aluminum. And I think for the most part, it's lighter than steel. It's stronger than steel, other than hardened steel. Doesn't conduct electricity like copper and brass would. So if you work around electricity or if you work around heat sources where you don't want the heat transferring through the scales of something you're holding, titanium might be the way to go for the purposes of being able to more closely keep everything way down. If you're going to be traveling a lot or camping a lot, other than composite materials, we're talking about stuff that we can find on the periodic table, not composite materials, then maybe you want to go with a little bit of titanium because it may just work out for you. But one thing I am curious about is, what does a well-worn titanium piece look like? I know what copper looks like when it has that patina, when you've been carrying it for a long time. I know what brass can look like. I know G10 and micarta and the way it gathers the oils from your hand, and FRN and Grivery, but titanium always seems to elude me. I don't carry it enough. I don't use it enough. I don't particularly want to invest in the price because I don't need it for my everyday carry. But comment down below, join my Discord. Let me know what a well-worn titanium piece looks like. Drop that in my Discord. If this is your first time stopping by, subscribe to the channel. I would love to have you a part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grave. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.